Welcome to Mind Body Fusion, the strengthening version. It's a combination of yoga, Pilates, breath, a little bit of meditation. We'll be adding a tiny bit of sound this morning for some grounding. Feel free to remove your socks, make sure you have a mat, and feel free to modify for your body. I may be offering some modifications, so feel free to take them. Every session is unique to us, so just make sure that you listen to your body. So let's come into our sacred space, our mat. And as we're getting prepared, maybe set an intention for our practice. Perhaps it's for grounding, perhaps a little bit more strengthening, or perhaps just being aware of our body. So I'm going to stay silent for a minute. And now let's bring our focus to our feet. What does it feel like to be on our sacred space, our mat? What do our feet feel like? Do they feel grounded? Do they feel relaxed? Maybe you can wiggle your toes or lift your heels. Just get a feel for your feet. And then come down flat on your feet and splay your toes. So just widen your toes and then allow them to go back to normal. And then let's do an alignment. So check that your knees are over your ankles, and then check with your hips or over the ankles. And then shoulders roll back, lift up the upper body. Let's be proud. Our ears over our shoulders. So in this position, we're lifting up the rib cage, opening up the rib cage to allow us to breathe more freely. Check where your breath is going. Is it going into your chest, or is it a little bit deeper? If you find you're going into your chest, so the breath is a little more shallow, simply imagine or envision your breath getting deeper. And then notice your rib cage, front, sides, and back expanding. Filling up the lungs, like giving oxygen, and then exhaling. And as we continue breathing deeply and exhaling fully, just notice the differences in your body. And now bring your palms forward, coming into mountain pose. And let's start off with 3 ohms for more grounding. So inhale. Breathe normally and just check in. What are you noticing that's different from when we first started? Now we're going to come into the heart chakra. So we'll make this a very heart-centered practice today. And the vowel for the heart chakra is Ah, A-H-H. So just 3. Inhale. Ah. free to move your feet or shake it out. Are you noticing energy flowing in your body? What do you notice? Everyone is unique. And then when you feel ready, make your feet get grounded back in the floor once again. And then inhale. And interlace your fingers, index finger pointing up, and we're going to tip out to the side. We're going to hold. I'm going to come into the camera, so I'm just tipping over to the side, head in between the arms, and ensure that as you tip out, that you don't move forward and you don't lean back. You want to come over that hip. Gaze at the ceiling. And inhale into the center. Exhale, swan dive. Hands come to the ground or just hang here. And inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Go as deep as you can. Inhale, rise. Interlace the fingers. Index finger pointing up. And tip over to the other side, opening up the side body. I'm going to come to the side once again. Breathe. Knees are soft, meaning that there's a slight bend. We're not locking our knees out. Inhale into the center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. And sweep your arms back. Now, if you have high blood pressure, you may wish to pause here. Same thing with the forward fold. Pause here. And if not, feel free to carry on. Drive your arms up and allow your head to dangle. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, take your right foot back, 45-degree angle, arms at shoulder height, and then go into a deep knee bend. How do we modify this? Stay up a little bit higher. You can also take a smaller step. Breathe. So go as deep as feels comfortable for you. See if you can keep your arms up at shoulder height. And palm turns, faces the ceiling. Inhale, lift up. Back hand comes to the thigh. On the exhalation, bring your front arm down, slide it down, take your back arm and lift up. So coming into the instep and then opening up. So we're going to open up the shoulder, fingers pointing to the ceiling. If you find this a bit too deep, simply stay lifted. Your hands may touch your calf or may come to the knee, whichever is best for you. So again, if you have high blood pressure, you want to keep your head above your heart. Inhale, lift. Now pivot your back foot facing forward. Both arms come up. Breathe. On the exhalation, take a giant step forward, come back into mountain pose. Feel the strength of the mountain. Inhale, arms rise, interlace your fingers, index finger pointing up, and this time lead out to this other side. So I'm coming into the front view, tipping out to the side, opening up the side body. Inhale into the center. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Interlace your fingers, index finger pointing up, tip out to the other side. Your head is in between the arms, gaze at the ceiling. Inhale into the center, exhale, swan dive. Inhale to flat back, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, sweep your hands behind your head, tip over. Now again, if you need to keep your head above your heart, this is what it looks like, or you can tip further down, press those arms up and allow your head to dangle. Inhale, rise. And exhale, take a step back, opposite leg, front knee bends, arms at shoulder height. You decide how deep you go. You may decide to be up further or down if you wish a bit of a challenge. Gaze just above your fingertips. Palm faces up. Inhale, lift and reach. On the exhalation, take your front arm, windmill down, slide down to the instep. Again, this is a modification. This is full. Turn your head. Reach with your fingers to the sky. On the inhalation, lift up, arms, windmill forward, pivot your back foot, reach up. On the exhalation, take a giant step forward, come into mountain pose. Breathe deeply. Check into your mountain pose. Do you feel the strength in this pose? Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive. Bring your hands all the way down to the ground and then step back. Now, if you need to keep your heart above your head above your heart, come down onto your knees. Otherwise, come into downward dog. Breathe. And let's all come down onto our knees and wag our tails out to the right side. Wag your tail out to the other side. Bring your tail into the center. And come on up into downward dog once again. Now, if you need to stay in on all fours, we will be moving into a plank. So feel free to come into a plank this way from all fours or on elbows like this. This is a modification, or full like this. So we're in downward dog. And now we're going to transition into our high plank. Again, you can also come down onto your elbows. We want to make sure that our wrists are underneath our shoulders or our elbows underneath the shoulders. And let's come into downward dog once again, or on all fours. Come into high plank. Downward dog. High plank. Downward dog. And high plank. And let's tip onto our knees. Swivel our feet out. And come onto our back. I'm going to scoot down. Rolling all the way down. Let's come into Shavasana. Just for a moment. This is a great reset pose. So if you're finding that you're feeling a little bit tired at some point, or you just feel you need a little bit of rest, pausing in between a session is okay. Our bodies do communicate with us, and sometimes we simply need to pause. And although it seems like we're doing nothing, our nervous system is pausing and shifting into a parasympathetic, which means that it's going into a rest stage. This is like a reset for our body. Focus on your breath. We'll stay here just a little longer. Your eyes are closed. Slowly open your eyes and get reacquainted with the light. Bend one knee, bend the other knee, and bring your heels as close as possible to your behind. If your palms are face up, I invite you to turn your hands down so palms are on the ground, and then squeeze your behind and then lift your hips up, holding up. Breathe. Pressing your arms into the ground and slowly lower the hips. Breathe in and out. Squeeze your behind and lift, and this time roll one of your shoulders underneath, roll the other shoulder underneath, interlace your fingers, keep your hips high. Now, if you find you need to lower down, just roll the shoulders back out, release the interlace, and then lower your hips. We're going to hold for a few more seconds. Let's release the interlace, roll one shoulder out, the other shoulder out, and slowly release. Beautiful. Take a breath and exhale. Squeeze your behind, lift up, and this time let's extend one leg. So options, you can lift your leg, stay here, or line it up with your other leg. This is a little bit more of a challenge. Breathe. If you start to shake, it's your muscles just trying to gain balance, and they're definitely working. Bend that knee, lower your foot to the ground, lower your hips. Take a breath. And exhale. Squeeze your behind, lift your hips off the ground, And let's lift the other leg, either here or anywhere in between this space. When you line it up with your other leg, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. Bend your knee, foot comes to the ground, and lower the hips. Beautiful. Take your knees into your chest. Hands can go at the shin. And enjoy the release in the lower back. If you wish, you can tip your knees back and forth or pulse your knees into your chest. Make them tiny pulses. And slowly lower your feet, hands behind your head. Now we're going to lift our upper body and then lower down, coming into crunch. Now, remember that as we crunch, our hands are merely holding the weight of our head up. We're not lifting with our hands. I should be able to do this, but placing our hands behind our head just means that our neck is supported, our head is supported, and we just lift up using our abs and lowering. So let's begin. Crunch. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe. One more breath. Keeping your hands behind your head. This time, we will take our elbow across, reach for the knee, and then lower down, and cross, reach for the knee, and lower down. 10 sets. So cross and lower, cross and lower. Your abs are engaged. Three more. 2 more. Last one. Last time. Beautiful. Release your hands from behind your head and slide them down onto the mat, the floor, at shoulder height. Let's widen our heels so they're coming to the edge of the mat or slightly wider than our hips. And from here, tip your knees out to the right side. So the feet are now on the sides versus flat on the sole. Gravity has taken hold of the legs, and then roll your head opposite your knees, so to the left side. This is one of my favorite stretches, favorite poses, because there's so much release happening and it's also very relaxed. So keep breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. Bring your knees to neutral, head to neutral, and then tip your knees out towards the left side. Your feet are now on the sides, and roll your head towards the right side. And then notice all the releasing happening in through the thigh, the hip flexor, lower back, side body, chest, neck, shoulder, biceps. Keep breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. Bring your knees to neutral, head to neutral. Bend your elbows, hands come to the chest, and slowly lower your elbows. You can walk your heels closer together and then roll over to one side. We're going to help ourselves up into a seated position. I'm just going to turn into the camera, extend one of your legs, cross, nice upright spine, hug, and then sweep this hand behind and press the shoulder back, twist from the base of the spine and turn your head last. This is a beautiful glute stretch. A nice opener for the chest and the shoulder. Inhale, turn to the front, extend this leg, cross the other, nice upright spine, hug and sweep. Twist from the base of the spine. Inhale, turn to the front. Exhale. Beautiful. I'm just going to come to the side. Sweep your arms in front, interlace the fingers. Let's open up the upper back. Lift your head up, release your interlace, lead with the chest. Lean forward, flex your feet. Inhale, lift. Sweep your arms behind and then bring your hands over to the left side and then tilt your head towards the left. So I'm just going to turn into the front once again. My hands are interlaced behind my back and I'm tipping to the left side. Actually, for you, it'll look on the right side. The way I'm doing it, but feel free to be on the side that you're at. Bring your head to neutral, hands to neutral, and then sweep your hands over to the other side, still keeping your fingers interlaced, and tip your head. We're opening up the neck and the shoulder. And bring your head to neutral. Bring your palms together. And let's end with 3 ohms. Inhale. Om. 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 And let's stay silent just for a few seconds. Check in with your body. When you're ready, you can release your hands. And you can either stay in this position. I'm going to get a little bit closer, or you also have the option of lifting up if you wish. I'm just going to share some final comments, recommendations. I hope you enjoyed the session today. Do drink some water. It's very important. When we do any movement, we are moving energy in our body. So very important that we stay hydrated. Perhaps you're feeling very relaxed. Perhaps there's been some ideas that have come up. So feel free to maybe journal or just be aware of surroundings. Sometimes we get some great ideas after we do practice, such as what we've done. So thank you for joining. Until next time.